I got two things, just simply two things I want to do. I want to give you enough information and insight on the brain of the human, of your buyer, of your boss, of the people that work for you, that you can be dangerous with that knowledge and apply it the minute you walk out of here. And the second thing I want to do, I want to introduce you to a set of levers. And I'm really focused on increasing sales for people. That's what I'm all about. I want to teach you how to increase those sales by understanding your buyer's brain. Because it is the ultimate competitive advantage. I've spent my entire... So the brain itself, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. I want to talk about how it was built so you understand the piece I'm trying to get to. The brain is kind of broken into certain categories. I want you to know how it evolved. The brain was built somewhere around when we were coming out of the reptilian phase. That brain was operating. And then that's probably 2.5 million years ago, and I still believe in God, for those of you asking. I believe totally in God, but I also believe strongly in evolution. I think they go nicely together. So let's not get into a biblical argument tonight, but we did evolve somewhere. And so that brain is still in your head. You got to understand that. There are three parts to that brain. There's a reptilian brain, and you've got a neocortex over the top that grew about 500,000 years ago. Your brain right now is 100,000 years old. Hadn't changed for 100,000 years. Same size, same complexity. That brain was already around by the time man got a brain, all the way. Most of the animals on the earth were extinct. We've only lived 1% of the total time that something's been moving on this planet. 1% of the time. So you got a lot of things going on. You had a reptilian brain in there. It grew into a more sophisticated brain and eventually gave you the brain you got. So you've got a fairly unique unit, but what I want you to get out of this is this. That old brain, and I'll call it the old brain, I'll call it the architect. That's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about your old brain. The new brain, which is the 10%, the conscious brain, the neocortex, that's what you're living in. But the other 90 is dictating the game. It created the consciousness for one reason, to survive. Every single buyer you're dealing with, every single one of them, the number one directive need is survival and procreation. That's it. When you're standing in front of your buyer and you're talking to them and you're showing them slides and you're throwing brochures down, you're doing all that stuff, how much of it's going in, do you suppose? Not much, because it just doesn't work that way. Right? We've got to reduce it. We've got to understand, how does it decide what goes in? And there are three things. There are three things. One, is it relevant to my core needs, which is the most important core need? Survival. Don't forget that. Do not think that X number of years is going to replace 2 million years of development in your brain. Survival. Think about that every time you're calling on a client. It's about survival. Now, we translate survival into financial survival, strategic survival, and personal survival. We're going to get to that in a little while. But if it's not relevant to that, it's irrelevant. So we're going in talking about all these logical, rational things we can do for their company. It's irrelevant. Go for the brain. Go for the old brain. Build that relationship. I'm going to give you the specifics of how to do that in a minute.